unfortunately, a lot of young boys have been taught, like, usinamie mtu, you know, like, always stand your guard, always stand firm, and blah, blah, blah. And so even finding correction, especially when it comes from a lady in a relationship, it's like you've diminished his whole persona. So hata wezi ambiwa kitu, you can't even be told, I don't like when you did this. It offended me.
Two things. One, let me tell boys that, and whoever is objecting, we totally invite your objection. We diverge the views. But today, now we are building up the boy child. Be happy today, the subject is the boy child.
Yeah.
We are building each other up.
Yeah.
One, we want to tell men that, boys, that when you fail does not make you a failure. When you are corrected, you're not being attacked. You are being given ideas to adjust your work. What you need as a man is a secure ego. So secure sense of who you are, so that when you are corrected, people are giving you ideas to shape your work, not to shape your self-esteem. Get your self-esteem right before you display your work to the public, before you go work. In your family as you grow, learn how to affirm yourself so that when you are corrected, you don't feel attacked. Those people who feel attacked have not differentiated their ego from their work. If you're a broadcaster, if you're a speaker, if you come here and somebody disagrees with what you say, I don't feel attacked. They're helping me modify my work. They are providing a social mirror. So all advice to all men is get a secure sense of who you are and don't be oversensitive about criticism. Criticism, feedback, correction is how you mold your work, because everything we produce in the world, Joyce, is for people, is for consumption by the public. We ultimately sell it to them. Whatever is a product or service for them. It's them who give you feedback how they're experiencing it. But now, Landis, after you hear feedback, always look beyond the criticism to see the critique. Sometimes some critics are coming from a place of envy or anger or their own unfinished.
Oh yeah, one of the things I live by is I'm not gonna take advice from somebody I don't respect.
You know, in fact, even the tone in which you put.
Exactly.
The way, if you come that like you're bashing, I will not even engage, because I can sense you're not being polite and you're not being civil. So we want to tell men that a secure ego invites disagreements, invites without feeling attacked. And now let's talk about women. When you talk to women, don't look at them like just that. They look at the idea. There are some men who will not take an idea because it's coming from a woman. That's being foolish, because you're going to be overtaken by growth. Ideas are the things that advance life. This chair was an idea before it became reality. This TV show was an idea first. Everything you can see was an idea. Invite ideas from whichever source. In fact, if anybody can volunteer ideas, they are doing you a favor. I always invite ideas. That's mental effort that they expended, and they are really giving it to me for free. When we come here, we are trying to give people ideas. So part of what we want to invite all young men is to learn to embrace ideas. Evaluate the idea, buy the ones you buy, drop the others. You lose nothing by listening to a lady.
Yeah.
In fact, you become better.
Yeah.
And we told men that the other day that you can influence women with your ears more than with your mouth. By just listening to women, validating their emotion, making them feel understood. That's better. You'll attract, and I told them that you can catch more bees with a drop of honey than with a whole gallon of vinegar. By motivating, you attract more than by manipulating. And as we said, manipulators are usually weak people who don't want to take up the work of loving, understanding, being patient, being caring. They're using force because they don't want to be human. So the better way is to be understanding, humble, and relational, not domineering and controlling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of these lessons will matter so greatly, especially in a season like this where we have to be around each other.
We need to talk about when you're quarantined with the people you don't like. You know, we are using work to escape. You call off for a few minutes and you go to work.
Yeah.
Makasiriko
Unarudi ukichoka, ati unaingia tu kulala. Yeah.
But now you are here for longer periods. We are forced to face issues we have been avoiding. So this is very important.
Yeah. I want us to also talk about sense of responsibility, because for too long there are people who've gone around just making babies and not taking care of them babies. Responsibility, very important. Like, you father the child, take care of the child.
In fact, that's one sign that you are human, that you're strong, that you are a man. Siren, even bulls can do that. Animals do that every day. But stay there and father that child. Stay there and mentor that child, even if you're not in terms with the mother. Prove yourself to be give the child what you wish you were given.
Right. Separate your relationship with the mom and with the child.
Think in terms of, if I was the child, what would I wish for? Identity from my father, to affirm me. There are children who have grown very healthy from families that are already split because the man was very present. They would talk on phone, they would affirm the child, they would tell her, I'm proud of you, don't worry, it will turn out okay with you, how are you faring, how can I help? That emotional presence is very important. So I want to ask men that if you find that you are a father of a child, differentiate between you and the mother.
Right.
And the same way mothers should, we should not use children to fight between us. As much as possible, let us separate children issues with our issues.
Yeah.
Because these children are not small people. In 20 years, they'll be adults. And what we have been doing to them now, they'll be living with it. Or we'll reap from it. So there's no win in using children to fight. Better it is to separate the children with us and allow children to relate with both parents.
Okay.
Can I mention something about fathers?
Yeah.
You always use your father as a northern star to determine the direction of your life. But it does not mean you emulate him. If you like him, emulate him. But if you don't like some things about him, go the opposite direction.
Absolutely.
There are
Take what is good
Yes.
and leave what is bad.
Yeah.
Even with your mom, whoever.
So men, sometimes you say, I'm smoking because my father left me, the way I'm damaged, he neglected me. If you don't like the way your father behaved, correct it. Be the opposite. There are two twin brothers who are born to an alcoholic father. One of them became an alcoholic too. The other one never touched alcohol. When they were asked, they gave the same answer. He said, I watched my father. I watched my father. So this one watched his father and emulated him. This one watched the father and corrected what he didn't like about the father. So we are all brought here by a father. If your father is so absent, you never saw him, just decide to be present in your children's life.
Yeah.
If he is very present and caring, decide to emulate him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone here says, hey Joyce, I'm in love with your program. Thank you very much. You're watching from Githurai, a very populated area, and you'd like a mask to protect yourself. Someone here says, my contribution is this. Our boys who are soon graduating to be men need to be taught how to control their ego. Let's learn this. Serving our ego only takes us farther from the things that we want in life. And you say one may want to lash out, yet it may feel fulfilling, but there is a price to pay.
That's right.
That's Frank watching from Kajiado. And I also want us to talk about anger. And there's a good SMS here from Marianne watching from Gong. She says her son is 1 year and 8 months and he's very angered. And she's asking how she can help her son grow without that anger because she feels he's uncontrollable and she's fearing for him when he grows up that he could become a bully. 1 year, 8 months.
If a child is showing anger, even children of few months can show anger, crying incessantly, just protesting, crying a manner that just protesting. So anger is an emotion that comes from feeling vulnerable, feeling if it's excessive, it has a cause. So this lady has two options. One, get the child to a child psychologist. Or yourself, be equipped on how to treat the child. There are ways you can do. For example, there's some habits like throwing tantrums. Sometimes you promote the child if you keep on rewarding the tantrums. If you keep on, when they insist on something, you reward it. Or they could be exposed to it could be modeled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple more SMSs here before we wrap up. Someone saying, I have a brother who's over 40 years old and doesn't have any plans of getting married. We were raised by a single mom, and I guess maybe he lacked a role model. And Carol from Eldoret is asking, how can we help him?
If he is 40 and lazy, invite you to help him, you can't help him. But to those who are of that age, one is, the reason men may not marry until they're 40 is because the mother is filling the gap of the woman in his life.
Oy.
That's one reason. They are always in touch, mom doing, so there's no space in his life. Or the other thing is, he could be feeling insufficient. He does not know that he can play the role of a husband. He has esteem issues. He's afraid.
Okay.
Or he simply does not have social skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So unless he wants the help,
A 40-year-old, you can't impose help on him. If he invites you, please help me. Now go give him those boys I've given you.
Okay. Okay. Jackie from Kisii is saying, my hubby can't talk to me calmly. He's always shouting and abuses me emotionally. Always telling me to leave his house anytime we have a misunderstanding. Okay, Awatu, seriously, I get so bored with such like a misunderstanding. And anyway, I always question, where is love in all of that? How did you people come together?
That's a question. Part of it is, both of them are to blame. The lady has lacked so much self-respect that she can tolerate that kind of language. You're supposed to say, I can't stand that kind of language. When there's no fight, call him now. When there's no fight, no irritation.
No fight, yeah, don't do it in the
Invite him.
fight.
Tell him, why do you use that language on me?
Umpikie vizuri,
Yes.
akuwe akikula, alafu muulize.
Yes. Na akijaribu kukama tena mwambia, stop raising your voice. Calm down, we talk.
Yeah.
Why do you use that language on me? Tell me what you mean now.
Yeah.
Oh, ni vile nilikuwa nimekasirika. I want a commitment from you that you're going to control your language when you're angry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Another here says, how does a woman deal with a boy who is raised wrongly and makes you... and make you now. There are kids involved, but he does not have any good behavior to teach his kids. Okay, so let's assume he was raised poorly as per the SMS. They now have kids between them, and so she's struggling with like, unafundisha nini watoto?
You are going to outsource using other people, like maybe your pastor or another social. Expose them to other healthy men so they can pick up good habits.
Okay.
You can compensate, supplement. Teachers, therapies. Find a way to get your kids to pick good habits. Also, you teach them.
Yeah.
Talk to them.
Okay.
They can still come up all right.
Yeah. And that goes back to your beginning point that it's not just men, teaching boys, but even as women, you can also teach them. But do it, in a good way, that it's not overbearing, so that you don't have this guy, being 40 and too close of a relationship with the mom that there's no space for anything else.
That's fine.
How can we find you, Benjamin?
Social media, Benjamin Zulu KE on all social media platforms. Facebook, the page is Benjamin Zulu KE, and also Gmail, Benjamin Zulu KE @gmail.
All right. Thank you again for your time and for coming through.
Most
Interesting
welcome.
discussion here. Obviously, some of you will feel one type of way about it, others will not, but hopefully you've gleaned whatever you need to and have learned something here today. We need to take a break now as we get ready for our fitness segment. Dennis will be joining us on set. We want to see how well he's been doing since the last time he was here. I believe he had lost 6 kgs. We're rooting for him to have lost even more at this time. Okay, so that's coming up next. Stay tuned. 22999 is the SMS line. He's looking a little tense. Dennis, you okay? Okay. We're going to be meeting him shortly. Stay tuned.